Today's lesson is 3-4, and we are multiplying rational numbers, okay? So the first thing I want us to do is I want us to fill in some intro, okay? So the rules for multiplying integers apply to all positive and negative rational numbers also, okay? So I want you to fill in the blanks here. A positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. Remember, same sign, positive, right? So same sign, positive. And you guys, the rules for division are the same for multiplication. You with me? So same sign, positive. So a positive divided by a positive is a positive. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Same sign, positive. Same sign, positive. Write it down. Different signs, of course, is going to be negative. So, so positive times negative is a negative. Negative divided by a positive, negative. Different signs, negative. And again, you guys, let me highlight this. The rules for multiplication is the same as the rules for division. All right, so for example 1, we want to multiply rational numbers, and we're looking at just fractions, okay? Now, when we are multiplying rational numbers, the first thing I want you to remember is that you don't have to, but you should simplify before you multiply. Is everyone with me? Okay, make sure you write that down in your notes. Simplify before you multiply. So we want to simplify before we multiply. Now, when you simplify, you have to choose a numerator and a denominator. So, is there anything in there you see that we can divide something out of? So, we can divide 2 into 10 and 2. Is everybody with me? So here, we're going to cross this out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. Very good. So cross that out and write a 5. And this is simplifying. Some of you might have heard it called cross simplifying, but it doesn't have to be a cross. You can do one on top and the bottom too. So I just say simplify, okay? So now when we multiply, we are going to multiply straight across. Now, before we do that, keep in mind, this is a negative times a positive. What is a negative times a positive? So remember, different signs, negative. So this is a negative times a positive. The answer is going to be negative. Very good. So let's write equals negative. And then we're going to multiply straight across. Okay? So 1 times 3 is 3. And 5 times 5 is 25. And there's your final answer. So for example B, what's the sign going to be? Positive or negative? It's going to be negative because different signs, negative. So let's just go ahead and write negative down here. Okay? Now, is there anything I can simplify? What can I divide into 7 and 14? 7, right? So let's divide. 7 divided by 7 is? Anything divided by itself is 1. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. And 14 divided by 7 is? So 14 divided by 7 is 2. Okay, now I'm going to change colors. All right, so 8 and 4, what can I divide into both of those? I can do better than 2. 4, right? Right? So 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. And now we're going to, I'm going to use yellow this time because the other one was too dark. Now we're going to multiply straight across. Is everybody with me? So here, 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 2 is 4. So see, if you simplify before you multiply, you don't have to simplify at the end. Is everybody clear? But if you don't simplify before you multiply, you need to remember to simplify at the end. Now, these are mixed numbers. What do I have to do to the mixed numbers before I can multiply? Change them to improper fractions. We need to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. Very good. All right. So you guys remember how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions? Let's review it again real quick. So in this direction, what do I do? Multiply. And in this direction, oops, let me use a different color. So in this direction, we multiply. And in this direction, we add. Very good. Now, before we start this one, that's a negative times a negative. What's my answer going to be? Positive. Very good. Do I have to write a plus in there? No, you don't have to write a plus. So, let's write equals down here. Now, we've got, so 1 times 8 is 8. Plus 7 is 15. So this is going to be a negative 15 over 8. Very good. Times, and then on the other side, we've got a negative. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So this is going to be 12 fifths. Everybody good? Now, what do I want to do before I multiply? Simplify. What can I simplify? So let's do it. So here, so 15 divided by 5 is 3. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. Right? And now we're going to simplify the 8 and the 12. And we said we're going to divide by what? 4. Right? So 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. Good. And now we multiply straight across. All right? So now, again, negative times a negative is a positive, right? So we don't have to write the plus. And now we're multiplying 3 times 3. Let me highlight that. 3 times 3. And we're multiplying 2 times 1, right? Straight across, yes. So 3 times 3 is 9. And 2 times 1 is what? 2. So now we have an improper fraction, and now we have to change it back to a mixed number. So how many times does 2 go into 9? 4 times. With how many left over? With 1 left over, so this is going to be 4 and 1 half. Is everybody clear? All right. All right, so you guys, I want you to do example B with your table partners, okay? And then we'll go over it. So the answer is 8 over 21. Let's take a look. So here we've got the negative 1/6 right here, times we have to change the improper fraction to a mixed number, right? So this, when we change this, it's 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 is 16. So this is going to be a negative 16 over 7, okay? Now, before we multiply, we can simplify. So the only thing that we can simplify is the 6 and the 16. Is everybody with me? Okay? So we can divide those 6 and 16 by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. and then we multiply straight across. Everybody with me? So 1 times 8 is 8, and 3 times 7 is 21. And a negative times a negative is a positive. So example 3 says multiply rational numbers, and now we're looking at different forms. Okay? Different forms. So we have a negative 64 hundredths times a negative 1/4. Okay? Now, when multiplying rational numbers in different forms, you want to write the factors in the same form first. Does everybody see that? So you have to make them all fractions or all decimals, and then simplify it that way. We're going to show our work for the first one, and then I'm going to show you how to use your calculator for the second one. Is everybody clear? Okay. So what would you like to change both of those to fractions or both to decimals? Here, you guys, yeah, you can change them all to fractions, but then you're going to have to get common denominators, right? But look at 1/4. Do you know what that is as a decimal? If you don't know what that is as a decimal, then all you have to do is use your calculator. What's 1 divided by 4? What's 1 divided by 4? Put it in your calculator. 0.25. It's a terminating decimal, so we can just change everything to decimals. Is everybody with me? All right, so let's write this down. So we've got negative 0.64 times a negative 0.25. Okay? What's a negative times a negative? A positive. Now put it in your calculator and tell me what you get. So this is going to be a positive 0.16. Is everybody clear? All right. So now, do I want to change fractions to decimals or decimals to fractions for letter B? Now, put in your calculator 2 divided by 3. And tell me what you get. Because when you put in 2 divided by 3, you get a repeating decimal. You cannot change to decimals. Is everybody with me? Okay, so we have to do the fractions on this one. But I'm going to show you how to use your calculator. You ready? So you're going to put in 2/3 on the calculator. So you're going to type in 2 and then press the ABC button and 3. And then you're going to put times, and now we want negative 4.25, right? So you're going to type in, first you're going to put in the number, 4.25, and then you have to make it negative, so you have to press this button to pop the plus minus. Is everybody with me? And then you press equals, and it tells you what you get. Now, this says negative 2.83 repeating. Okay, so this is negative, and we're going to write this down, negative 2.83 repeating, right? Now, we want to round to the nearest tenth. So if this says negative 2.8333 and so forth, the nearest tenth is right here. So what does that 3 tell us to do to that 8? Does it say stay the same or go up? Stay the same. So this is going to be a negative 2.8. This, you guys, is a picture on Canvas to show you how to put bar notation in McGraw-Hill. Does everybody see that? So you're going to use your toolbars. You're going to use this tab right there, and then this box right here, that's the bar notation. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so just like when you use fractions and stuff and the exponents, this is how you put your bar notation in your answer on the computer. All right, I would like for you to highlight what evaluate means. I would like for you to highlight what evaluate means. So example 4, we are multiplying rational numbers and we are evaluating expressions. Okay? I would like for you to highlight what evaluate means. Evaluate means to substitute and simplify. You guys know what substitute means? It means to put a number in for a letter. You with me? And then simplify means that we're just going to do what we did in the previous examples. Okay? So here we want to substitute and simplify. So what am I going to put in for x? So here we want to evaluate the expression. So we've got 2/3 times x, which is -3 and 1/6, times y, which is -5 and 1/4. Is everybody with me? So now we want to simplify. So the first thing when we're simplifying, we want to do is we want to change those mixed numbers to what? Improper fractions. Very good. So let's do it. So, well, the 2/3, do I need to change that? No. So we'll just bring that down. 2/3 times. Now this is going to be a negative, and you guys remember how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions again? Okay. So 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So this gives us 19/6. Negative, yes. Now the next one is negative. And we've got 5 times 4, 20, plus 1 is 21. So that's going to be 21/4. Okay. Now, we need to simplify before we multiply, right? Okay, we want to simplify before we multiply. If you need to write a reminder, just write simplify before you multiply on paper, if you need a reminder. Okay? So if you look at these, and we have to choose one on top and one on bottom, numerator and denominator. What can I simplify? Okay, let's do the 6 and the 2. Divide by 2. All right, divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, good. So we can do the 3 and 21. So, does it matter which 3 I use? No, it doesn't. I'm going to use the other one, okay, just because it's there. So 3 divided by 3, let me use green. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. Very good. Since we're all done simplifying, we can multiply straight across. Is everybody with me? All right, and you're going to use your calculators to help you. But before we do that, what's my sign going to be? I'm just going to mark this up. So here this is positive times negative, right? So what's a positive times a negative going to be? Negative. And then we have to multiply times this negative here, right? Then we're going to multiply times that negative there, right? And so what's a negative times a negative? Positive. So my answer is going to be a positive, right? Okay, so let me take that out so we can actually do the work. So we know our answer is going to be positive, so we don't have to write a plus, right? So now we're going to multiply straight across. So we have 1 times 19 times 7 on the top. Here we've got 133 in the numerator, and then we have 1 times 3, 3, times 4, 12. So now we have 12 down here. Is everybody clear? Now, We can change this to a mixed, we have to change this back to a mixed number. So we want to know how many times does 12 go into 133? 11 times? Because 12 times would be 144, right? So here, so this is going to be 11 times. Now how many left over? We have 1 left over, so it's going to be 1/12.